It is 3:14 a.m. You are inside a climate-controlled box of concrete and drywall. Deadbolts secure the doors. By every logical metric, you are the safest organism that has ever existed. Then, the floorboards settle. A tiny snap echoes from the hallway. Instantly, your eyes snap open. Your pupils dilate to capture non-existent light. Your heart races. Why? Because your conscious mind knows it is the 21st century, but your brainstem still thinks it is the Pleistocene. For millions of years, the dark was not a time for rest. It was a time for slaughter. We sit comfortably at the top of the food chain today, but we carry the neurological fossils of a species that spent its formative years as a midnight snack. Today, this primal fear manifests as sleep fragmentation and sudden adrenaline spikes. When a modern human hears a noise at night, the sympathetic nervous system triggers an involuntary survival cascade. Your heart rate variability plummets. Sweating begins. The brain shifts from rest into hypervigilance. We check locks multiple times and suffer from chronic anxiety as we attempt to force ourselves to sleep in isolated, dark rooms. In a modern context, this biological response is exhaustingly counterproductive. Burning calories to flood the body with adrenaline because the air conditioning clicked on destroys our sleep. It is an evolutionary tax we pay for our ancestors surviving. It is a flawless, ancient alarm system ringing endlessly in a house with no intruders. To understand human evolution, we must abandon the myth that we were born the masters of the earth. Early humans were slow. We completely lacked natural armour. We had pitifully weak jaws and lacked the night vision of nocturnal predators. We were a mid-tier, ground-dwelling prey species. Sleeping on the ground was a near suicidal evolutionary gamble. Imagine the suffocating absolute blackness of the Rift Valley 2 million years ago. There is no ambient light pollution. The darkness is thick, blinding, and absolute. The air smells of dry dust, ozone, and the metallic tang of crushed grass. For an early human, the setting of the sun triggered a visceral dread. Without fire, the tribe huddled in a tightly packed mass in a cave or thicket. They placed the most vulnerable, the infants and the elderly, in the center of the pile. The silence of the night was terrifying. The African savannah at night belonged to apex predators. False sabertooth cats, giant hyenas, and leopards ruled the dark. They were ambush hunters. The rustle of a bush or the snap of a twig was the only warning you had before 200 pounds of muscle and teeth clamped around your skull. This modern flaw of waking up instantly at a tiny noise was once an absolute biological superpower. It kept our species alive. But the true evolutionary pivot was the domestication of fire. When fire was finally harnessed, the sensory world changed. The campfire was a beacon of life. The smell of wood smoke signaled safety. The perimeter of the firelight became the exact boundary between life and death. Inside the glowing orange radius, there was warmth, tool-making, and early storytelling. Predators intuitively avoided the smoke and the flames. The campfire created a micro-exclusion zone. Outside the ash line was the abyss. To be banished from the firelight, or to let the fire die while you slept, was a guaranteed death sentence. The eyes reflecting in the dark just beyond the reach of the flames were a nightly reminder. We were prey trying desperately to become an apex predator. Fire allowed humans to consolidate sleep. We moved from the fragmented, light sleep of arboreal apes into the deep sleep required to grow a massive neocortex. But fire required fuel and constant maintenance. This created a profound evolutionary trade-off. To reap the benefits of deep sleep, the tribe had to develop a Sentinel System. Evolution selected for individuals with staggered circadian rhythms. Some woke easily, while others slept late. This ensured that at any given moment, someone was biologically primed to feed the fire and listen to the dark. Anthropologists call this the Sentinel hypothesis. Studies of modern hunter-gatherers, like the Hadza people, prove this staggered sleep pattern is baked into our biology. At almost any point in the night, at least one individual is naturally awake. This proves that our modern sleep anomalies, like insomnia and early waking, are actually evolutionary adaptations. They were designed to ensure someone was always guarding the tribe from predators. We were a heavily hunted species. The fossil record leaves no doubt. In a South African cave, scientists found the skull of a young early human featuring twin puncture marks. Those holes perfectly matched the canine teeth of a leopard. It destroyed the old killer ape theory. It proved early humans were constantly predated upon by big cats. Without night vision, group vigilance, and the eventual control of fire were the only ways we survived the intense predation pressure. Cooking our food freed up massive amounts of caloric energy for the brain. This high-efficiency, ground-based sleep was only possible once fire and social guarding removed the immediate threat of nighttime slaughter. The campfire extended the day. It allowed for social bonding and the development of culture. Fire provided the safety required for the human mind to focus on ideas rather than pure survival. But to achieve this, our brains developed a highly tuned auditory threat detection system that remained active even in our deepest sleep. Evolutionary psychologists have identified a specific fear module deep in the mammalian amygdala. It proves that humans are biologically prepared by evolution to rapidly fear ancestral threats. We are hardwired to fear predators in the dark, snakes and spiders, much more easily than modern, deadlier threats like cars or electricity. We conquered the night. We locked our biology into a fire-dependent evolutionary path. But the war never actually left our DNA. The systemic cost to this ancient code is heavy. The modern biological toll of this primal fear is devastating. Today, we are socially isolated in our sleep. We usually sleep alone or with just one partner, rather than surrounded by a tribe. Our ancient biology registers this modern isolation as a state of extreme vulnerability. The brain subconsciously realizes there is no sentinel awake to guard the perimeter. Because of this, it simply refuses to downregulate the nervous system. This biological mismatch is a primary driver of modern insomnia and hyperarousal disorders. We make it worse by artificially extending the firelight. We use smartphones and glowing screens, tricking our ancient brains into thinking it is perpetually dusk. On the savannah, dusk was the most dangerous time of day. It was the exact moment when the apex predators woke up and began to hunt. We agitate our nervous systems right up until the moment we try to sleep. When we finally plunge our bedrooms into total darkness, our ancient limbic system panics. Where is the fire? Where is the tribe? We are asking a nervous system, forged in the bloody crucible of Pleistocene predation, to simply switch off in a silent, dark room. The resulting friction causes chronic cortisol elevation, adrenal fatigue, and a low-level, pervasive anxiety that haunts modern humanity. True uninterrupted sleep is largely a modern, artificial myth. Natural human sleep is highly responsive to temperature and environmental noise. We still expect to hear the crackle of burning wood and the breathing of our tribe. Instead, we hear the mechanical hum of a refrigerator and the silence of an empty house. Our biology feels exposed. The darkness still feels heavy even when locked behind a deadbolt. We are haunted by the ghosts of predators that went extinct tens of thousands of years ago. We are apex predators who built an artificial world of total safety. Yet, we must pay the evolutionary tax every single night. We lie awake in the safety of the modern world, still listening for the snap of a twig in the dark.